Hello, welcome everyone to this episode number 16 of the series of interviews that I'm conducting with the best players from Europe who qualified for Anaheim 2025 World Championship. And for this episode, we have Nickname with us. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Introduce yourself to the audience. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, what you do for a living, how old are you, and how did you get close to the game in the first place?
So my real name is Szymon Płotka, in game known as Nickname29585. I'm currently studying. I'm 21 years old, and I got to the game basically um, dragged by my friends because my friends started playing it in 2018. Well, I also played the game in 2016, but that was for like a couple weeks or so nothing really special. Then I came back in 2018, and basically I've played ever since without any breaks. And I started playing PvP basically from the very beginning, when the Go Battle League came out and when the Sylph came out as well. Well, in terms of Sylph, I started from season 2 actually. So yeah, this is how I started.
Yeah. Do you remember the first meta that you played in?
In Sylph, right?
Hmm?
Yes, it was Sinister Cup. This was the first meta I took part in. I actually had a local tournament which I managed to win, so that I was very happy about it. I went 5-1, and there was like 4 more people with 5-1 as well. And yeah, I really enjoyed it and continued playing that.
Yeah, nice. Always good to see a lot of play Pokemon grinders who started with grassroots formats. That's heartwarming when the PvP was basically that. And yeah, was the season 2 during or maybe just right before COVID? When
Yes,
was that?
yeah. The COVID basically started in the middle of season 2, I believe. So like first 3, 4, maybe 5 tournaments, I don't exactly remember, were local, and then the Sylph went full remote mode. So yeah, it was that season.
Okay. Yeah, I think I started towards the end of that season. I can't really remember, but it was Forest Cup. I don't remember. I never recall if it's season 2 or season 3.
Yeah, I think it was that. It was that season. Yeah, I think it was the season 2.
Okay. Yeah, I just started pretty late. I didn't have any leaderboard aims. I just said, okay, so apparently this is a new thing now. I'm just gonna try and play some tournament myself, and yeah, everything went downhill from there. So yeah, both of us have been playing PvP from almost the very beginning.
I actually,
Yeah, and now we are playing this this different PvP format, which is no longer custom meta, but still very enjoyable and very rewarding if you are good, and I think you are. So yeah, we kind of have to talk a little bit about your season peaks and yeah, and your best results and sensations and experiences from this season. Of course, you got 3 medals, so a third place, a bronze medal in Dortmund, and then 2 golds back to back, so Stockholm and Utrecht. So we will get to that, but yeah, let's start with the first tournament. And yeah, so how did you decide to team build for Dortmund, and how also after Dortmund, how you try to adapt and change something, still keeping some interesting cores. And so yeah, just talk us through your season journey.
okay, so Dortmund was actually very interesting tournament for me because I was on my summer break at this point, so I had a lot of time to prepare, and I was basically playing the same team over and over again, which at this point was like Azumarill, Clodsire, Talonflame, Superior, Feraligatr, like very meta team basically. But then I started noticing the weakness to Malamar, because Malamar was so good back then that it was even able to beat Azumarill with like 2 shields. So, and besides Azumarill, this team didn't really have any other clear responses to that. So, and I realized that like on Wednesday before the tournament, which was quite late to realize such weakness. But I figured I need to change something. I figured I really need to change something because Malamar seemed way too strong against this team. Um, and I went with completely different team than I was preparing with for like past 3 weeks before the tournament. I went with double dark strategy, which was basically my goal to defeat opposing Malamar. Well, one of the darks was Malamar, but that's also somewhat fine matchup. And I also went with Toxapex, which some people consider to be RPS, and I kind of agree. But in this team, it was really nice to stop all the Superior, Azumarill, and Talonflame, which were really, really common back then. And I also, my third most interesting pick in that tournament was Quagsire, which I felt like it was really safe against everything besides Superior. And I tried to make Superior have as less play as little play as possible in against my team because I had Clodsire with Sludge Bomb, I had Dugong, which is also fine matchup for Dugong. I had Toxapex and Menabas, which all beat Superior, so uh, it really helped my Quagsire to shine in this tournament. And yeah, this was basically I built this team on like Thursday. I played I think one practice tournament before that, and it went pretty well. So yeah, I just decided I'm gonna risk it and play this team that I didn't really have a lot of preparation with, and it really worked out.
Yeah, this is absolutely a very nice, well-rounded team because you select any Pokemon in your line of six, and you can see you have at least 2 or 3 hard answers for any of the counters. So yeah, for Clodsire, it's weak to Manslappers, for example, but first they weren't very common back then, and then against Diggersby, who would be the main threat, you had one superpower user, and then one water type, one ice type, and Mantibus. So
Yes.
yeah, and so on for the other 5 picks. Yeah, so I think it was a really really nice team. Anything you wish you had done differently gameplay wise in Dortmund in any of your games?
Mm, hmm. That's a hard question because on day one I felt like I was playing pretty well until the winners finals whereas Wireless switched in his Malamar, and I accidentally went into my own Malamar instead of Mendebas, which I had exactly for that Malamar. So yeah, I definitely threw that game. But besides that, I think I was playing pretty well in this tournament in general. It wasn't the cleanest the gameplay after rewatching that, but I was definitely happy with how I played compared to previous season, for example.
Mm. Yeah, well, let me have a look at your. Okay, well, you okay. So from last season, you had only 4 tournaments, but one top 8, and yeah, you went you lost one with one win short from the day 2 in EUIC. If I
Yes, exactly.
have
Yeah.
done, yeah, if I've made the math right, and yes, also yeah, 33rd place in Lille. So yeah, not the most brilliant of your seasons, but yeah, you started very strong with the 2025, and just to set the tone immediately and to grant a very nice medal and a lot of points to start being seeded very high for the subsequent tournaments.
Yeah.
So what about the post tournament? So after Dortmund, more and more players started having access to Galarian Walters, including yourself, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, and I see that basically you didn't really alter your team structure from Lille to Gdansk, but yeah, with some tiny differences. So yeah, tell me more about Lille and Gdansk.
So yeah, these tournaments didn't go too well for me because I finished 31st at both of them. Uh, I think I don't think it was a team issue because I scrimmed a lot with Boom 20. He of course won Lille with almost identical team. I think he just had Drapion instead of Moltres, I believe. I don't exactly remember, but we basically had 5 of the same mons. So I think the team was fine. In Lille, I just got quite unlucky because I faced Mega Janko in game one. In my first set of the tournament, and he wasn't seeded very high because he's not playing a lot of tournaments, but he's definitely a very good player. So yeah, I got quite unlucky there, and he also had a very tough and annoying team for me to deal with. Then I won three next matches, and then I lost to DRE, which was quite unfortunate, but it happens. So what you can do about it. And in Gdańsk, I believed this team was definitely very very good still because I think it was like only 2 weeks between these tournaments. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it was something like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, they were pretty close. Yeah,
mhm.
19th of October for Lille and the 2nd of November for Gdansk.
Yeah, so yeah, it was 2 weeks. Yeah, and I thought this team was still pretty decent. I just changed Quagsire to Fur Alligator because I was expecting more Fur Alligator from other people, and Quagsire has pretty iffy matchup here because you need to land a bait and then land the Stone Edge, which was like sometimes could be very hard to do. So I felt Fur Alligator was just more safe there. But in Gdańsk, I also didn't perform that well because I think I threw my first match in the sorry, I beat Dancing Rob, and then I threw in the winners round three, I believe. And then in the losers bracket, I had very tough team comp as well, and my opponent was reading me real well. So yeah, two very unfortunate tournaments for me, which a little bit like put my confidence a little bit down after the tournament, after the Dortmund. But yeah, after that, it went pretty well after these two tournaments.
Yeah, I have a question about Gdansk because I've seen that basically giving up on Quagsire after two regional, you had used it. Basically, you made your team kind of weakish to Danspers.
Yes.
And you lost to two Danspers users in Gdansk. So
Yeah.
did you feel that was actually the main reason why you actually didn't perform too well?
I didn't really think about it, but I think it definitely could be one of the reasons because Dunsparce, I remember both of my opponents played it, and it was really annoying to deal with because I only had, I guess, Malamar, but even that is not like super, super good into Dunsparce because you need to land superpower, and if they shield, you are debuffed. So yeah, yeah, I think Quagsire might have helped me there, but yeah, I was just expecting a lot of fur alligator, and Quagsire is quite yeah, as I said, it's like iffy matchup. So yeah.
Yeah, only in the zero shield or maybe in the ones if you bait, but yeah, baiting an Aquatail into Feraligatr, I don't know.
Yeah. It's very risky.
Yeah, and then Stuttgart, you managed to improve your results from your most recent two tournaments with the 13th place, which I believe is was it day two because it's top
It wasn't because
16, right?
no, in Stuttgart we didn't have above 128 players, which meant day two was supposed to be top 8, but they changed it to top 12. So yeah, I was like one match short of day two.
Okay.
And in Stuttgart, I lost twice to Cactus. He also had like quite annoying team for me to deal with because like Marowak and Moltres core was really strong against me because I had pretty squishy team, I would say, which meant Marowak was really good against it because Marowak, of course, does a lot of damage with its Mudslaps. And yeah, Cactus played really well against me in both of these sets. So yeah, but it was still definitely very. I was very happy with that performance, regardless after 2 33rd places. So yeah.
Yeah, especially because yeah, when you go down to lower brackets so early on, so being able to win 3 more matches and still get into the point, especially after beating Scaffold, which is not a random
Yeah.
player. And so yeah, probably it was written that you would have had to lose again to the same player who knocked you down in losers. But yeah, if it was a pick that it was hardly manageable, especially because your Galarian Moltres, which is supposed to be a counter, didn't have fly yet. So
Yeah.
you either had to debuff yourself or just to pay the ancient power in order to secure the match. So it's not a fantastic position to be in for either of you. Any pick that you were really happy about, or that you have been really happy with in Stuttgart, or or a pick that actually you wished you had taken off the team?
I actually think the team was built pretty well. I'm not sure if I would change anything after taking a look at it right now. Maybe Shadow Annihilate would be a little bit better, but besides that, I think this team was pretty well rounded and pretty neutral across the entire meta. And against Cactus, it was an impossible matchup, but he just played better than me, so I could have possibly won these matchups as well. But yeah, he just played better. So yeah, I think this team was fine.
Yeah, I mean, also you were probably one of the few people to believe in Annihilate from the beginning in Stuttgart. I used Primeape in that tournament, and it didn't go too well for me, but I recognize that either Primeape or Annihilate actually were two very, very good Pokemon to believe in. And so and then going to London after two-month break, basically. So after the Christmas break, London UIC. So end of February, new meta, new update, and so your thoughts while team building for London?
Well, I didn't really have a lot of time to prepare for London, which is quite sad because I wished I had more time. I had my exams basically the week, like 2 weeks before EYC, and I think I spent only 3 days on practicing team building and screaming for that meta. So yeah, it was only 3 days of preparation. So for 3 days of preparation, reaching 17th place was really something I was really happy with. And this team is basically what the meta looked like back then. The only interesting pick from and there is Emolga, which is basically like something similar to Zapdos, which rised in popularity back then because it was really good into Annihilate, water types, and both electric types were decent into Draken as well. So people started bringing them as their safe pick, I guess. And I run Emolga for Diggersby matchup, which Emolga can win in the Zero Shield. Because I also had a Zapdos, but I felt more comfortable with Emolga.
Yeah, definitely. Either Zapdos or Emolga was a nice call for that Birmingham and London pair of tournaments. So I actually considered to bring Emolga myself in Birmingham, and I made a lot of I attended a lot of practice tournaments with Emolga, and then just decided it wasn't worth it because I would have run it with Aerial Ace in acrobatics. Just to have a better matchup against Annihilate, for example. Just being able to just throw neutral into Colossire, even if it was into the red, I really wanted to, not to waste the full acrobatics into that.
Yeah, but then you would be quite weak to Azumarill, I feel like, with Emolga.
Yeah.
So
Emolga loses to Azumarill in every shield scenario, basically, without discharge. And so that was probably the main reason. I mean, I wish I had 3 moves on Emolga for that reason. But yes, so that's why I actually decided to give up on it. And so which Pokemon was your the MVP for London, or maybe instead of the MVP, the one that actually performed the best and you were really satisfied of how it played out?
Well, I have to say Imolga. I have to. Imolga was, as I predicted, pretty safe into most teams because their only answer was most of the times Diggersby,
Yeah.
sometimes Marowak, and Emolga can win both of these matchups in some shielding scenarios. So uh, I think it was Emolga, and then I think maybe Azumarill as a staple. It is was just basically always pretty much always safe because Azumarill also has play into both Zapdos and Emolga, and I faced a couple of them in this tournament, I think. So yeah, Azumarill also had a lot of play in this tournament for me.
Okay. And so you took 1 month to one exact month to prepare for Stockholm, and which you won with a very convincing performance, 7-0 without dropping a single round. So always in the winner bracket,
Mm.
and there was a new meta again. So with a new Pokemon started to get introduced to the OGL meta. So we saw Lapras for the first time,
Mhm.
and we saw Swalot, we saw Credily, although you didn't have Credily, and then we saw Guzzlord, which was a very nice core breaker, and it basically only had to be afraid of Azumarill. So yeah, uh, tell us a little bit more about how you built for Stockholm and what was your strategy or rationale for this team.
So after EYC, I saw that I was somewhat high on the leaderboard for Europe, so I felt like I might have a shot for Travel Award. This was like the first time I really thought about it because yeah, it's definitely very hard to be in top 8 of Europe. So I really wanted to try and practice as much as possible and team build as much as possible. And this team was very unconventional because I had Swallowed there, which I don't think a lot of people played back then. But I saw that the week before this tournament, I believe there was like two very big tournaments hosted remotely, and Swallowed Guzzlord Core was doing pretty well in these tournaments. I think one of them was won by SS Torn with Guzzlord and Swallowed Core, and then I played that core myself in the next tournament, like the second one of these, and I finished third there. So uh, I definitely felt like this core was really good and strong into this meta because the only real core breaker for that was Alolan Sandslash, which wasn't very popular back then. So yeah, I really wanted to build around this core, and in case I would face Alolan Sandslash, I had Annihilate and Talonflame, which are both really, really strong answers to it. And also Lapras was pretty fine against it. So yeah, I felt like this team was pretty well balanced in that regard. And I also, of course, had Azumarill there. Well, not of course, because Azumarill was starting to rise in popularity around Stockholm, I think. But I noticed a lot of people were playing Guzzlord and Annihilate, so I wanted to have a fairy type, and if you want a fairy type, just to pick Azumarill. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's basically the only Pokemon that you didn't have a solid answer for was basically Lapras. Even though you had Annihilate, but yeah, we know that Annihilate matchup is not this dominant as one might think. But still, in case Lapras didn't have Ice Beam, your Gastrodon was more than fine,
Yep.
and you could safely, I mean, even force a double shield scenario to come out very loaded with energy and just having lost just a minimal amount of HP. I actually remember from your games on stream that you use Gastrodon a lot, even against Azumarill users. You really used it a lot, and did you or were you preferring to use it in the lead and just basically committing to staying against 5 out of 6 Pokemon, or just trying to keep it in the back if you had the chance to win the lead with something else?
So I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna talk about both of these matchups where my opponents had Azumarill and I brought the Guzzlord. I'm gonna start with the one that's simpler. Against PvP David, I felt pretty comfortable with bringing Guzzlord because I had two very safe Pokemon against his team, which were Lapras and Azumarill, and my Annihilate was also pretty safe, and Annihilate into Azumarill is fine matchup, I guess, if you have shields. So, yeah, I felt pretty comfortable with running basically anything I wanted in this matchup. So, yeah, wasn't really worried about getting RPS there. And against Odin, which might have seemed like a very hard team to bring Guzzlord in because he had Azumarill, he had Alolan Sandslash, and Primeape. I brought Guzzlord here because I was fully expecting him to run Skeldurge against me. Um, it was the first matchup of the day two, so I had a lot of time to prepare for that. And I basically, my first line I went was Azumarill, Lapras, and Guzzlord. So basically triple strong to Skeldurge. So and I wasn't really expecting him to bring Alolan Sandslash because of potential Talonflame and Annihilate I had. And Azumarill, I felt like I could, if I see it on the lead, then it's really good because my Guzzlord avoids it in the back. And if I see anything else besides Azumarill, then I can win the Zero Shield against almost everything there. So I felt like he wouldn't expect me, and I felt like he wouldn't expect me to bring Guzzlord in the first place. So it was basically very risky pick, but something I didn't expect him to expect me to bring me from me. So yeah.
Okay, and weren't you afraid of the David Spangoro while you
Uh,
were leading Guzzlord?
Not at all, because Pangoro only has close combat. Because cross chops don't. Sorry, karate chops don't really do a lot of damage, so they basically have to land full close combat. And in two shield, I think depends on whether he baits or not. I think I can Dragon Tail him down. And also, I was not expecting him to bring Pangoro at all because I had uh, three really good answers in Swallowed, Azumarill, and Annihilate. And Talonflame is also decent there, so yeah, I was not expecting him to bring Pangoro at all.
Yeah, and in fact, I believe he never used it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was really good
So,
pick against Dane though, because against Dane didn't really have a lot of. I don't think he had a single hard check to Pangoro, if I remember correctly. So
yeah,
Pangoro definitely helped David in that matchup, but against me it was basically unusable.
yeah. He told me that Danne wished he actually would battle you in Stockholm because he had a much better matchup against your team than against
Absolutely.
PvP David once. Yeah,
I was very
yeah,
pleased to see David beat Dane in that match for the second place, because I don't think I would beat Dane. Like, I think he could easily bracket reset and beat me twice because he had such a good team comp against me. So yeah, it was quite lucky that I faced David instead of him. But yeah, I think you definitely need some luck in these tournaments as well.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I believe that. Did Dana have both Charge Bug and Angulisapod? Only
Yes,
Charge Bug.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that call would have been pretty tough to deal with for you. But yeah, sometimes you just need a little bit of luck and just play perfectly whatever chance you get handed. And yeah, you executed your tasks to the perfection in Stockholm. And then you took a break because you didn't attend Seville.
Mhm.
You did we have any other regional between Stockholm and Utrecht? Only
No,
Seville.
there was only Seville in Europe at
Okay.
least.
Yeah. Always referring to Europe, of course.
Mhm.
But yeah, so a new meta again, not because we had uh, a moveset rotation, but because we got Tinkaton added to the pool of available Pokemon.
Mhm.
And so yeah, let's talk about your Utrecht team because I had already spoken with someone else having actually with two more players having the same team, and yeah, they haven't been extremely clear with me about who was the original creator of the team and who actually started speaking with. But so it looks like to me they all the three of you were pretty close to a general backbone for the same team, and then maybe some of you might have faced against in some practice tournament and decided to amend one or two choices. And in the end, you ended up having the same team. How was that? I'm speaking about Cartier and these values, by the way.
Yeah, I was expecting that you mentioned both of them. So the first, I'm actually not sure who is the original creator of the team. I think Zwilus had. I think it started that Zwilus had like a similar team to the one that me and him ran in Utrecht, and then Kaifia made some changes to it. Not sure which exactly, and then he showed me this team, and then I suggested that he should run, and we should run third instead of Malamar, because this team was quite soft to Azumrul, because there is only like Jumpluff, which isn't really an answer to Azumrul. And yeah, besides that, Azumrul is really safe into this team. So yeah, we were trying to find something that would also have a lot of play against Azumrul. So yeah, I suggested third, and that was basically the final version of that team. Then I also screamed Kaife a couple times. Then I played Zwilus. We basically played the mirror in one of the practice tournaments. So yeah, I'm not sure if Zwilus actually came up with the third himself, or did he see that, for example, that Kaife played it or something like that. But I know he really likes thirds, so I wouldn't be surprised if he came up with it on his own. So it's quite complicated who actually made this team. But yeah, this is basically the story about it.
Yeah, so very nice. Where basically all of you added some contribution to the development on this team, and then you decided for a reason or another to just to use it. And yeah, with very good results in all cases. But yeah, having basically two top 8. I think his values also got a top 8.
Yes.
In Utrecht with this team. I really like this team, by the way, because I believe this was the perfect team to tackle the meta of that specific week, because people were abusing of Tinkaton and Jumpluff. It was the most popular core at the time after the latest regional in North America that saw Pocket winning with basically Malamar, Tinkaton, and Jumpluff all the time. And and I realized that team, which many players would have copied, was very weak to Typhlosion. So yeah, definitely Typhlosion was the best addition to the team. But also I realized that Typhlosion is not enough to stop Tinkaton from coming. So of course, adding 2 additional hard counters to it made possible basically running forward every game if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Just because Tinkaton would never come with Kaleido, Corviknight, and Shower Typhlosion, because you would have at least one of these 3 pretty safe into anyone's team. And yeah, and then also Azu, which is always the supreme sponge to rely on, and it seemed to be it never dies, both in the matchup and as the months and as the year pass. Azu is still there. It is going nowhere. Every time the meta changes, it's still there. Some people will find a way to use it, and I believe this team was really great. And I wish I played some practice tournaments to get to know this team. But actually, I was trying to cook something pretty spicy, and I didn't want to play any practice tournament because I didn't want to reveal my ideas. But my ideas turned out to be not so great in the end, because I was running Clefable. I was running Clefable, Skeleditch, and Shadow Digaspi. And my team wasn't that great into yours and these Vilus and Kaifi ones. So I ended up losing to these Vilus in day 1. But yeah, So actually, there was a successful story and very good example of why doing some practice tournaments, even with people you are probably gonna face the weekend, is still useful to get a better pulse of what to do and what other people are thinking. And of course, I have to ask you a couple of questions about Utrecht and about your, except for the grand finals, what's the what's the moment, what's your best moment, or the moment you realized throughout your regional that you could make it till the end?
Hmm. Uh, Let me think about it. Okay, I'm gonna talk about like one point where I felt really good after winning this specific match, and that was against Aerobubble. Because there was one thing that this team was quite weak to, and that was Drapion. Drapion was like one of the most annoying things, and Cradley as well. And he had both of them on his team, but I managed to beat him 2-0, and I felt really really good about this after this win, because yeah, this was basically the hardest thing to beat with this team in my opinion. Um, and then I think another very important match win was against Koksyak. That was my first match in day two, because that guaranteed me top eight, which I think at this point guaranteed me travel world basically. So this matchup was incredibly important for me. And after this match, I felt so good. I basically felt really, really good. And the next matches, I basically played like without any stress and anything like that, because I already achieved what I really wanted. So yeah, the next matches were basically pretty chill for me, I would say. Well, besides grand finals, of course.
Okay, yeah. Was the match against Kokchak the round one of the day two winner side?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and I think, okay, uh, yeah, it's actually uh, the teams that you have faced are, I mean, the deeper you went in a tournament, uh, the more similar they look like. But then I
Mhm.
realized just because you faced Maxi three times, so yeah, the question is not really valid. Um, but yeah, I can see, or I could see that basically your forward was super safe most of the time against
Mhm.
your opponents that you faced in your whole tournament, in your whole run. And then most of the time, potentially you could have just let Kobe Knight and then say swapping forward. If they had a Tinkaton, you could have done a lot of energy with Kobe Knight. I seem to remember that you actually described Kobe Knight to be your MVP for the tournament. So yeah, let's talk about uh, Kobe Knight a little bit, because I really like the Pokemon and I used it a couple of times, but yeah, the lack of a agile or a quick charge move just uh, makes it a little bit worse than what it looks like. But yeah, I wanted to hear more thoughts from you about Corbina.
So, as you already mentioned before, this team was very anti-Tinkaton at this point. Was built to be a very anti-Tinkaton, and as you already mentioned as well, the Typhlosion on its own, I don't think really scares away Tinkatons, because Bulldoze still can do like 60-70% of Typhlosion's HP. So uh, I was running it for one for Tinkaton. Two, it was very safe against most teams, I feel like. Uh, until the grand finals, I didn't have it on opposing fire types a single time. So I'm not sure if I can call myself lucky or just like if I built good lines of three, but well, regardless, it felt very safe for me, and I could rely on it as like a safe swap or basically something to sponge energy on, because it's like just like Azumarill. it has a lot of resistances and it can take damage pretty well as well. So it was, I think, next to Ferret, it was my safest Pokemon in the tournament.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm happy about this because I really love Corviknight, and yeah, I actually wish that the Corviknight got the CD move a little bit earlier than when it
Yeah.
gets it. Yeah. So if I don't know, probably if the community day were to be on the very first day of August, uh, potentially there is a way for us to play Corviknight with Air Cutter at Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Because 2 weeks would have elapsed, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe just barely less than 2 weeks. Maybe like 1 week, 6 days, and 20 hours or something like this.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because I believe it would have been a very very good Pokemon with Steel Wing and a Cutter, and just um, just benefiting more from the potential attack boosts. But yeah, it would be something for the post worlds to
Yeah,
discuss about.
I was also hoping it would be released before Worlds, but well, yeah, nothing we can really do about it.
Yeah. So still about Utrecht. So of course the first place was a massive joy for you, and although you were already happy and content and satisfied with what you had reached after getting into the top 8. So yeah, definitely anything that came after that was just a very pleasant extra. But yeah, being able to play without much stress just probably made a difference. Because
Yeah.
on the other side, there were people just fighting for or the world's qualification or the travel stipend. I think the Amanjak was really trying to get into the stipend range,
Mm-hmm.
and he probably needed the top 2 to get there.
Oh,
And
really? I had no idea.
probably because yeah, he was maybe 100 points short at the end of the season, but he also kind of got a very disappointing result in Bologna. So maybe if he didn't uh, get an O2 in Bologna, he would have gotten to the stipend regardless. But yeah, probably also trying to break the curse of finishing third, since Amanjo just got third place a lot of times.
Yeah.
And yeah, and you were just so relaxed, and probably even with a substantial team count advantage, because yeah, your evolution into Amanjok's team was very safe.
Yeah, he was basically
Probably,
running the Pockets team, which my team or Kaifia or Swiler's team, whatever you want to call it, was supposed to counter. So yeah, that was really really well. I would probably say that it was my easiest matchup in this entire tournament. Not because he played bad or something, but just team comp wise, he couldn't do anything against this team.
yeah, and it was the team that basically your team was built for. So yeah, you also know even more how to play your matchups. So yeah, fantastic results in Utrecht. So back-to-back golden medal, and then we had, before Bologna, we had Portland with the Blastoise show from its accent. So I see that you made some adjustments. So basically, you kept a couple of picks from Utrecht, but also you decided to be a little bit stronger into Blastoise. So is that the reason why you use Serperia?
Um, Originally, I had the Cradley there. Um, Let me think, because I actually don't remember exactly why I changed it. I think I just felt like there will be. Yeah, okay. Now I remember. I felt like there will be more Cradley in this tournament because of Accent's team, which was quite weak to it because he had like double water, I believe. There was a jump off, I believe, as a flyer. Um,
Yeah.
well, basically, Cradley was very strong into that team, and after Utrecht, we noticed that people from Europe like to counter what NA brings in the tournaments. Uh, I felt like there would be more Cradley, and more cradly would mean that Superior would be really good because like double water is everywhere, right? Malamar was also something that Superior quite likes to see, I would say. And of course, if there was a Cradley on the opposing team, I would rather have Superior than my own Cradley. Especially that my own Cradley, uh, I have quite a good I didn't have a high attack one, which would mean that I would probably lose most of the CMP ties, which I wouldn't really want to have. So that's why I opted for Superior. But we didn't really see that much Cradleys, which was quite surprising to me.
Yeah, I was one of the few players running credibly in that tournament, and it kind of did okay. But yeah, definitely wasn't my MVP. Yeah, and why Swampert? Was that to just to have, because basically you were using Swampert in the Clydo slot, and you were using Malama in your forward slot, and your Superior in your jump off slot. So what's the reason for Swampert?
Uh, Swampert, I just felt like it was really good because, for example, against my Utrecht team, Swampert had a lot of play because Jumpluff is not that good of an answer against Swampert because two sludges almost knock out Jumpluff, depends on the IVs. And against Claydol, Azumarill, Typhlosion, Tinkaton as well, Corviknight, Swampert was really, really strong. So, and also Swampert is probably my favorite PvP Pokemon of all time. So I just wanted to bring it after basically, what was it, 3 years since I won Bremen with it. So yeah, there's a special place in my heart for Swampert. So yeah, that's basically why I brought it. And as we saw, Swampert was pretty good call for this tournament. As we saw that Philbeck won with it. So yeah, I think it was pretty good Pokemon for this tournament in general.
Yeah, I don't believe Feedback ever used Swampert in reality, but it was definitely an additional bench pressure pick for potential Tinkaton, and yeah, it still hits very hard in general. And I also think that Swampert is nice for another reason. It doesn't beat it, but being able to resist rollout thanks to the ground subtyping allowed a decently neutral matchup into Blastoise, which was basically the hype Pokemon for Bologna. So a lot of players started using Blastoise, including myself. However, I have to admit that I was using Blastoise in Utrecht, and then everyone started using Blastoise. So just my Blastoise strat was basically useless at the point. But yeah, and Shadow Malamar, yeah, I believe the population of players was split in two. So the ones who wanted to bet on Shadow Malamar, and the ones who wanted to wall Shadow Malamar. So why you decided to stand for this side of the barricade instead of just trying and being super hard to it?
So
if there is an answer to this, there might not be an answer.
First thing is basically that since I already had travel all secured, I just wanted to have fun there, and I felt like Shadow Malamar was pretty fun pick, and for some people it could be a really good core breaker. For example, against Zephy, my Malamar was insanely good because he only had Charge Back, which can lose 2-shield scenario to the Malamar. So yeah, I just felt like it was pretty safe. Even against Tinkaton and Jumpluff, it had some play. And yeah, I just wanted to try it out because this was basically the first and probably the only time that we will ever see it. Because yeah, a lot of back types were buffed in the update after the Bologna. So yeah, I just wanted to try it for fun.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know if we will be seeing Malamar anytime soon after this bug centered update. So would you say that your Swampert was your MVP for Bologna?
I'm actually not so sure Um, I don't think I can tell what was my MVP even. I think the team in general was pretty okay. But yeah, I don't think I had a specific Pokemon that really stood out. So yeah,
Okay, so it was a team effort more than
yeah, yeah, exactly.
a a carry a carry from a particular pick. Okay, so we have concluded this season recap. So overall, I mean, season with 3 medals, 2 of which made of gold is fantastic achievement. You should be proud of this.
Yeah,
And
I am.
yeah, I bet you are. And yeah, and but now we have to move to worlds. So and the only 2 occasions we have had to look at what or at the meta and where the meta is going, where the NAIC and the Japan qualifiers. So what actually what what did you think while you were watching, if you were watching in the NIC streamed games, and was there anything that stood out particularly that made you rethink what how you were trying and build for NIC? If you were trying to make already a team for NIC, what 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 really, if there is something that made you change your mind for the subsequent period of preparation?
So I didn't really think what would I play for NIC for 2 reasons. One, I had exams. Oh well, actually 3 reasons. I had exams back then, so I was very little on time and I had to study a lot. Second reason was I wanted to take a break because I played a lot of tournaments. I played a lot of tournaments before that. I played Bologna, I played Utrecht, and there was like only 2 weeks between them. So and I was basically like practicing and team building all that time. So yeah, I just wanted to take a little break. And also for the third reason, I just wanted to see how the meta would look like before even doing any team building because I definitely think that these tournaments have huge impact on the meta after them. So yeah, I think it would be pointless for me to team build before the NAIC for example Worlds if I wouldn't participate at NAIC because NAIC definitely like showed some interesting picks and what the meta would look like.
Mm. No, okay, yeah, then that definitely makes sense. I would my question was more of a did you try and make a fake NIC team to see whether your calls would have been appropriate for NIC, and if you did, were you surprised somehow, or you just wanted to watch the streamed games with no, I mean, just with no expectation and see what the meta looked like? Because
Yeah,
some players, sorry, because some players just try and team build in parallel, even if they are not attending, just to see if they have a good feeling about where the meta is going.
yeah, so I didn't do that. Yes, just because I didn't have time and I wanted to take a break and uh yeah, I just wanted to watch and see on my own like what the meta looks like. So yeah, I didn't do any team building before NAIC.
Okay. Were you surprised by anything in particular?
Mm, I think the Dusclops usage kind of surprised me because I didn't think it's gonna be that good, but it appeared that it's really good, pretty safe into most teams, and also I thought we might see less Lapras because of like the DNA Cradley, but yeah, it seems like and also possible Jellicent because Jellicent also seemed pretty strong to me before NAIC, but yeah, Lapras is still pretty decent, so Lapras and Dusclops are like the only 2 things that stood out to me.
Yeah. And in terms of Pokemon, so not in terms of players, in terms of Pokemon, who's been the real winner of NIC?
Uh, I think I have to say Scissor. I think I have to say Shadow Scissor because even though it's well best finish is well only third place, I think it was Patoman and Zwilus showed people how good and oppressive that Pokemon can be.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. This will force players to rethink a little bit of their team building strats, because you might start thinking about needing a fight type now, but yeah, all the fight types are not that great into the meta right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, you basically, instead of counter Caesar offensively, you have to counter defensively. So having something that can soak the energy. So, and this is why Mandibuzz was this this high in usage, being able to resist all the charge moves and being bulky enough to not care about the bullet punches, but also yeah, we're probably gonna see more and more Pokemon being able to resist the bullet punch.
Yeah. I think
From
so as well.
Japan qualifiers, we saw in Japan someone with Lantern. I think it was a really good call.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I believe we will see more and more.
Possibly. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other suggestions or feelings after seeing the Japan qualifiers as well? We saw similar meta more or less, despite Japanese players being known for their extravagant team building strats, but more or less the meta was not so distant from what we saw in the NIC. So a lot of Dusclops, Drapion, Araquanid, maybe more Araquanid that we saw in the NIC for sure. Lots of scissors. Anything else you want to add to your analysis of NIC and Japan qualifiers before we
Uh,
move on?
I unfortunately didn't watch Japan qualifiers, so I can't really tell much about it. But yeah, I was also kind of surprised that we see pretty similar Pokemon to what we saw in NAIC, because as you said, like Japanese players tend to run a lot of like spicy core breakers and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the only thing that was really interesting to me.
Yeah, and we still saw a couple of Tinkatons in the top 8, which is an interesting choice. I don't know if I would even think about bringing Tinkaton in this current meta. But overall, I believe like this set of resistances from Tinkaton is still very very useful in
Yeah,
general.
absolutely.
Yeah. So would you when will you start doing some practice for Worlds?
Um, as for now, I'm just playing Go Battle League to get my mechanics a little bit better than they currently are. And in terms of like actual team building and practicing, probably very soon, I think, because I definitely want to prepare for that. And um, I definitely want to be fully prepared as much as I possibly can. Because at Worlds 2022, I don't think I did enough practice, and I definitely want to change that this year.
Yeah. Still keeping in mind that even if you go 0-2 in Worlds, there's nothing to be ashamed of, because yeah, being there already is something to be really proud of. And yeah, someone will eventually have to go to. Even the
Yeah,
best players go sometimes 0-2 in Worlds, and yeah, there are no easy draws in Anaheim this time, so it's not a common regional, and there is no seeding. So
mhm.
yeah, you could face like the hardest group in the whole tournament that you might be in it, and so in that case, unlucky. But yeah, the only thing you can do is just practice a lot and being as confident as possible with your team of 6.
Mhm. Just as a fun
I
fact, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Just as a fun fact, I want to add like very funny thing. Snorek registered for the previous Worlds for the Hawaii World Championships, but he didn't go there, and he had Doombak in the first round of the winners. Of course, he wasn't there, so he got sent to losers, and then he faced Elam. So yeah, facing these two players back to back would be insane, but it's possible at Worlds. So yeah, I'm definitely keeping in mind that it could happen to me as well. But I want to do everything I can, so it won't happen. So it wouldn't happen.
Yeah. This absolutely makes sense. This is one of the few things that we can do. It just being as much prepared as possible on our end, and hoping that the luck will assist us. And I wanted to ask you. Okay, you are pretty commonly attending practice tournaments, the ones that they are regularly hosted on Discord. But do you also scrim with your friends, or you just prefer just to play these kind of tournaments?
I think it's a little bit of both things to me. I play practice tournaments to see what the meta looks like and what other people are using to get a better idea of the general meta.
Yeah.
And in terms of like actual team building, that's where I tend to let's say message like people individually and potentially discuss about like possible things that could be really good. So yeah, it's a little bit of both for me.
Okay, so aren't you afraid of revealing potential code breakers that anyone else can just pick up and invalidate your strategy?
A little bit, yes, but I think a lot of people, like I think most of the top players right now practice in these tournaments, and I think the help and the how do you say it? I think playing these tournaments gives you more than it gives other people by revealing your team. So you have to pick something. Of course, there are some people that don't really want to reveal what they will be running, but I think practicing is definitely something that's worth doing, even if you don't really want to show a specific pick or team, unless that's something very, very spicy that you are absolutely sure it will be really good into the meta, and you don't really want to show it. So yeah, then I guess it's also fine to not play these tournaments.
In that case, you can just play with your friends and just keep your secret hidden as much as possible. But yeah, definitely better practicing in any way you can. It's still better than not to.
So, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and I kind of agree. I have to agree on this. And my poor results in Bologna and Utrecht came after very, very poor practice. So yeah, I have to agree with them.
But I think practice in general helped you a lot, because in the beginning of your play Pokemon career, you were struggling, right? And then you started to practice a lot, I think, and you got a lot better, right? So
that's the pure truth. Yeah, I had a very rough start in my first attempts to get some results, and that's probably the reason why I never grinded the format before this year. And I just decided for this summer, I really wanted to go to Worlds just to get the satisfaction of going once. And and I still didn't perform really, really well in the first two or three regionals, and then I said, okay, so I need to do a lot of practice tournaments, as long as I needed, as much as I needed, and I just got my mechanics better and my line reading skills a little bit better. Because play Pokemon format OGL is a different game. It's not custom meta. It's a different way to approach the game. And the sooner you realize it, the sooner you will get some nice results.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so sometimes you don't really have the luxury of playing with energy. Sometimes you just have to rely on what is my opponent going to bring, and can I RPS them? And there is nothing shameful about this. And just sometimes you have to do this because GL meta is very wide. It's very wide open. And you are not going to be prepared for all the picks, for the potential picks. In custom metas, you might be, and you can afford playing with energy and shields. But it's not always possible, is it?
I agree.
Yeah. So we already talked about your PvP favorite Pokemon, which is Swampert. And but I would say, except for Bologna, this love for Swampert never influenced your team building, because you basically never brought it this year.
Well, the reason for that is because Swampert got nerfed 3 times in general, I believe, because all of its moves got nerfed, which is Mud Shot, Hydro Cannon, and Earthquake, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it wasn't really that great until it got Sludge, which kind of helped it get back into the meta a little bit. And yeah, I think I think Mudshot, Hydro Cannon are still fine, because it's like still five Mudshots to get to Hydro Cannon, which is insanely fast. And Sludge definitely helps it against other grass types, for example, like Jumpluff, and because Swampert can have pretty close matchup here. So yeah, I started playing it as soon as, well, not as soon, but when I really felt it was pretty good in the meta.
Yeah, and with this, I don't know if I would call the Mudshot change a true nerf, because okay, you got one less energy, but you got one more damage, so you could try and afford some farm down potential in certain situations, and maybe just as a shadow you could just take your opponent into Hydro Cannon range with the fast moves in certain situations where you couldn't pre-update. But yes, depending on who you ask, they can see it as an nerf or as a side grade. Definitely not an upgrade. It's either a nerf or a side grade.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe like nerf is a little bit too big of a word, but I think the Swampert's best thing that it was able to do was just spamming these Hydro Cannons in like 2022, and so yeah, this is basically somewhat of a nerf for me, because you get to them one match shot slower, because it used to be 5-4 5-4. Now it's just straight 5 match shots to get there. But yeah, the additional damage also helps sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah. So would you use Swampert if you were a Jimmy leader? So would you be a Mud Boy Jimmy leader?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, probably. So I really like Swampert, as I said. So yeah, why not?
Okay. So either water gym leader or ground gym leader, or both.
Okay. I would say water type, because there's a lot of interesting water types. So yeah, you could you could go in a lot of different directions from here.
Yeah, definitely. And let's talk about your local scene. So was that easy for you this year to access to your local tournaments?
It's it was sometimes a bit easier, sometimes was a bit harder, because we have a person who hosts a lot of tournaments. Who used to host Silph tournaments back in like 2021 and 2022. But then there was a COVID, so we weren't able to host them anymore. But they're hosting locals right now, and we have something called Pokemon Day, and there's a lot of people gathering. We have a lot of Pokemon related stuff. There is also like TCG challenges sometimes and cups. So yeah, for these Pokemon days, there's a lot of people. But besides that, it's sometimes a little bit harder to find people willing to join the local. Not impossible. Like I just have to ask. Some people who, if they are free on that weekends, and most of the times I am able to find people to actually run the tournament. So yeah, it's like a little bit, sometimes harder, sometimes a bit harder, sometimes a bit easier for me.
Okay, and who's coming to your locals? Like, I know there's no Rick lives in Germany, so I guess he's not really attending your locals. But you have Gokshak, you have MW 2022 in Poland at least. Or who's actually attending there? Is your local scene stacked, or?
Depends. I think it really depends on on like the level to which you compare these locals. For example, we all know the Dutch locals, that there is so many good players in there. For me, I think it's somewhere between, because from the PvP players that actually attend these tournaments, there is not a lot of players who attend these locals, because both Kokshak and MW live in Warsaw, and they very rarely come to Gdańsk, which is where I live. There is Bakemi, which you might know. He finished 5th in Warsaw and had a lot of front pages appearances on like GBL leaderboard. And a lot of couple players that don't really play as much, but they are definitely improving and getting better and definitely willing to improve. So maybe one day we will see them in play Pokemon. I really hope that will happen. So yeah, from like the people that are quite competitive, I think Bakemi is like the only person here. But there's, as I said, there's a lot of people who are willing to learn.
Yeah, I think EBK PvP also is from Poland, right?
Yes, but he lives in the south of Poland, so yeah, he never actually went to my locals.
Okay. So would you answer Bakemi to my next question? So is there any rising players that you're excited to see grow and hopefully to attend more tournaments from your local scene?
Yeah, I think so. He's actually already confirmed that he will do both Gdańsk and Frankfurt. So that's already more tournaments that he's done this season, because he only did Gdańsk this season. So yeah, I definitely think he could go really far as he did in Warsaw. There's also one player that's not really my local, but he also lives in Poland. He's pretty young, and it's Puzian. It's Puzian PL Gurom, which is a very young player who we recently discovered. He is playing for our Gym Breakers team, and he's actually, I think, the best player right now for Poland, for Polish team. So I'm really looking forward to him joining more tournaments. Well, at least his first one, because he was able to beat a lot of very good players. He sometimes plays practice tournaments just for fun, and I saw a lot of good players that he was able to beat, and I would be really excited to see him compete at the real tournament.
Okay, yeah, nice. That's a very good answer. Yeah, let's hope that this younger talent is gonna have a good performance, good run next season for sure. And okay, let's talk a little bit about what might wait for us afterwards. I know it's still early, but yeah, we're just speculating right now. So yeah, no harm done. If you had the power to change or to improve or modify anything in the game apart from the lag, and okay, yeah, this is a common answer that everyone would give for. Yeah, so for example, stat wise, or just give a move nerf, move buff to anything else, or even mechanic wise, if you wanted to change something in the format, adjust the timer. So you have all the liberty in the world to force one or more updates tomorrow. What would you do?
Recently, I thought about something that will probably never happen, because it's very hard to implement, I feel like, but custom game modes. So, for example, 2v2 or 4v4, or for example, there was this bug in the beginning of the season where Metal Sound was made the one-turn move. I'm not sure if you know about it.
Yeah.
And I actually had a lot of fun playing that, and I feel like it would be very fun if you could, for example, change the energy of each move to what you want, like basically make your custom own moves. So I think that would be really funny, but fun to do. But I know it's very hard to probably to implement for them. But that would be something that I would really like to see. For example, like 4v4, or maybe alternate changing the switch timer to 30 seconds again. That was also something that I think a lot of people enjoyed. So yeah, just little things that you could change on yourself.
Okay, yeah, maybe just as if you were to apply like a particular skin to a player you are playing. And so that for the same reason, you might decide to transform your Incinerate into a one-turn move. But of course, the stats will, so the damage and the energy values would be just readjusted to make it compliant with how much more or less one-turn move fast moves could generate, could deal. Well, maybe with some drawbacks. Like, for example, like Incinerate is a very damage-heavy move. But yeah, maybe it you could transform it into a one or two-turn move, but you wouldn't get the same exact proportion of damage and energy. Maybe you would be a little bit less, because it's like as if you are altering your original move. But this, for example, would make Talonflame just way more agile.
Yeah.
Maybe yeah. Why not?
So basically, just something that players would have a lot of fun with, and could do something very interesting things with it.
Yeah, it would be nice just to have an Incinerate that hits like a water gun type of move with one turn. So still not as damaging as a 5-turn move, but still a different way of approaching the matchup. And yeah, could have been interesting. I've been gathering a lot of different answers on this, and all of them are very, very nice to just to think about. But who knows? Who knows how the game will change in the future? But yeah, this is what speculation is for. Okay, we actually are at the end of our chat, but before we say goodbye, I want you to just do a little bit of shameless self-promotion. If you do some coaching, and just tell our audience to, where they can find you. If you do use your socials, where they can follow your journey. So yeah, the microphone is yours.
So I have Twitter, which is my nick here is basically the same as my in-game name, so Nickname29585. I don't really do coaching right now, but I thought about it. I thought about starting it, so maybe in the future. But yeah, I'm basically using, X rather. Some people still call it Twitter, and I'm one of these people. But yeah, X, Twitter, same as my in-game name.
Okay, so, but at this point, how many regionals do you have to win before you convince yourself that you can do some coaching? Are you looking for your third gold?
I don't think it's regional win dependent. It's just a matter of having time for that. That's basically the only thing that I was considering.
Yeah.
So
maybe during your exam breaks can be a thing.
Yeah, possibly. And that was just like a very, very how do you say it? Broad idea that I came up with. Didn't really think about it as much just yet.
Okay. Yeah, there is always time to think about it, but yeah, if there is some new Polish player who would like to improve and get better, probably you should be the person they should talk to, at least right now, in your shape. But yeah, that was great to talk with you. Yeah, thanks for the chat. Thanks for staying with me. And it was really interesting to hear from you about all your season tournaments, and how did you decide to team build, and the rationale behind all the team building processes along the whole season. Yeah, so I definitely had a great time. I hope you got it too. And yeah, again, thank you so much for staying with me, and see you in person in California in 2 months. And yeah, goodbye. Take care.
Yeah, see you.